So what is going on, guys? Nando Prince 93 here with another video. Happy Monday, work from home, week 3 I believe it is now at this point, so be sure to stay safe, guys. But today I'm giving you guys a video that you guys have been wanting to see for a very long time now, right? So most of you guys know that now with a USB-C cable, and even before with the right adapter, you could use a secondary display with your iPad, but it would only mirror the display, right? So people have been coming out with all these different adapters and all these different USB-C hubs that add an HDMI port, right? So I have one right here, and normally the case is, which I'll show you guys as I overlay the screen, is you get letterboxed. The reason that is because Apple doesn't have a real secondary monitor support for the iPad yet, or iPadOS, the software doesn't support it. Why that is, I don't really know, because they probably haven't figured out what they want their vision to be moving forward. When it comes to using a secondary display. Do they want to go full like desktop mode, or do they want to have just like floating versions of the actual like iOS app roaming around, kind of like Samsung Dex uses it or utilizes that feature? So I think that's the main reason why Apple hasn't given that support yet, because right now the only way you can get secondary support or secondary monitor support is mirroring the iPad screen, and then no matter the size of the actual monitor, it's just going to take in that aspect ratio that the iPad sits at, which I believe is either 4:3 or 16:9. Somebody please correct me in the comments below, because I know somebody will. So you always end up with that letterboxing, with those two black bars on the right and the left. And the wider the screen is, or the wider the monitor is, the more prevalent and the more noticeable, obviously, that letterboxing is. And at the end of the day, it doesn't add any real productivity to having a secondary display doesn't really add productivity to your workflow when it comes to using the iPad and iPadOS with a secondary display, right? Because right now, if I have a Windows laptop or a Mac laptop, just plug it into a secondary display, and all of a sudden it becomes that much more productive because you can have a million things open at once. So right now, there's no real native solution to figuring this out. And also, guys, stick around to the end of the video, or just skip to the end. I'm doing a giveaway for what I'm about to talk about. So once you make it to the end of the video, you'll find out how to enter the giveaway, right? But I've partnered with, I've been working real close with this guy who has a Twitter account called Shift Screen, and that's the app that I'm using right now to get rid of this letterboxing. So what Shift Screen is it's a workaround, guys. It is a workaround. I'm gonna preface this and kind of lay the foundation and set the expectation that this is not perfect, but it's definitely by far the best option we have in order to get rid of the letterboxing, which, as you guys can see, I have right here. So basically what Shift Screen does is it uses the application itself to shoot out whatever you're doing onto the secondary display. Or there's one big caveat here that we have to take into account, is that the Shift Screen application has to be open on the iPad for the secondary monitor to display the way it's displaying. If you open up Shift Screen and then put it into and get out of it, and it goes into like the multitasking section, it'll just blank out the screen and it'll go back to mirroring the screen. So I'm gonna show you guys how it works. We're gonna get a little closer here, and we're gonna get into it, guys. Let's go. So I'm gonna walk you guys through my setup right here. Obviously, I'm missing a stand here, so I'm just using my iPad Pro box in order to stand up my monitor right now, so no judgment, guys. But my setup right now is I have the Magic Mouse 2, or the Magic Trackpad 2, the Magic Keyboard. I have the Basis 6-in-1 hub on the side of my iPad using the Lamicall stand. So I'm gonna walk you guys through exactly how to get through this app and kind of show you guys some of the features and exactly what it entails, right? So this is the Shift Screen app. You just open it up, and as you guys can see, now my monitor has kind of changed, right? You see there's these like purple bars around it, and it's kind of waiting for instructions. So all I have to do is create a new window. Let's go to a random website. I'm gonna go and let's go on ESPN.com. And then you guys can see that my screen is actually loaded up, and you can see that it's using the entirety of the screen, right? So that's really cool. And right now, technically it is mirroring the screen, right? So whatever I do here happens on the screen. I can't roll over the mouse to the actual monitor itself. So that's something that kind of needs to be touched on. But there is an option to, so if you go into this corner right here where it has a normal pointer, which you would see on a regular computer, if you press that down and then start moving around the screen with your finger, on the monitor you can see that there's an actual mouse moving around, right? And it lets you kind of interact with the screen the same way you would with any other. So the mouse itself, or the screen, turns into a trackpad, and you can also do it by holding down on the trackpad and moving around. So as you guys can see, It's moving around. It's just the gestures are a little bit strange. There is mouse support coming in the next update. So this is update 2.1, which has brought in a lot of good stuff, which I'll keep touching on. But that's how it kind of works. And then you get out of here, and then you're back to the normal screen. So then what you want to do, let's say you need to open up something else. And what was just added to this update was web apps, right? So you now have, and keep in mind, like the actual native app itself does work with iPadOS 13.4, so the mouse support still works like it would normally, right? But let's say, for instance, you know, I've been working on a Google Sheets document, right? Attach new window, and then boom, all of a sudden now you have two screens wide open, right? So I can click back on here, move around on the ESPN screen, and then here I have, you know, my Google Docs going, right? And then I can just start typing away. Hi, my name is Fernando. Please subscribe. Right, so you're still able to work off of this second screen and use two things. But now what you really want to take into account, and you can have up to 6 different things open at once. I tend to only go to about 3 because then it gets a little bit hectic and I don't really want to deal with too much of that. So let's say I want to open up YouTube Studio in a new window. It kind of opens that up, right? So you guys can see that I got YouTube Studio working and we're almost at 5,400 subs, right? So these are the different web apps that are working. But what really kind of helps you take this to the next level is the fact that you can still multitask on the iPad itself. So for instance, if we go back into the iPad, and hopefully you guys can see, I'll zoom in a little bit, but if we open it up, if we come down here, let's say we want to open up, I got to open up my mail app, right? Move Spark over here. So I still have all 3 screens functioning here. I can kind of move this over to the smallest footprint, and now I'm working on my actual mail app right here, maybe answering a couple of comments or something like that, right? So if you really want to step it up and you want to open up a slide overview window, there you have Twitter. So now I have shift screen up and running with 3 different web apps open. I have my email client, which is Spark, and then I'm going through Twitter, you know, going through my notifications and running away with it. So the idea behind shift screen, it's not going to, like I said, it's another workaround that we have to deal with because of the fact that iPadOS doesn't natively support this situation. And I'm sure eventually it will, but for right now, I do believe it's going to be months, if not a year or 2 before Apple comes up with their own solution, because you guys know how long it took them to come out with actual trackpad or mouse support. So this is kind of what we're dealing with. And if I kind of shift over the screen a little bit, you guys can see a little bit better, is that everything works how it's supposed to, right? So you just got to click through the different tabs. And again, it's a workaround. I do believe that this does add some productivity. Like I said, you know, if you're answering some Twitter comments while writing a paper on Google Sheets, it's a beautiful thing. And like I said, you can still edit everything as if you're actually writing. And it's just really, really nice to have this option. And not only can you open actual web pages, but if you go back and you want to add a new window, create a new window, you can open something from the documents, right? Again, so it even works with video, right? So I'm gonna close one of these out just to kind of give you a better view. But we'll close out window 2 because I don't need Google Sheets anymore. We'll go back, close here, and then let's say I wanna click on, let's see what video should we watch. Let's watch my boy Brian Jung here, right? We'll click on his video. And then what you have to do is, for some reason, you got to press this button and then the video is playing, as you guys can see. Right now there's no sound because I am using an HDMI cord, and that means audio goes directly to the monitor, and the monitor has no speakers. But if your monitor had speakers, or if you're using a Bluetooth speaker to get audio out of this, you know, this situation, then you'll be able to hear them. So I just want to reiterate this by saying that shift screen is not the perfect situation to what we want, but it is something that, you know, can finally at least take up the entire screen and not have it just be a movie, right? You can open up multiple tabs, open up some files, you can work on, you know, web apps or web-based apps, you can work within them. Like if you're on Slack, it has a whole Office suite in there, and other, you know, and other applications that are used in a work environment, right? Because at first this was just kind of like a nicer version of an AirPlay, but now it's starting to get to the point where you can be productive with a situation like that. And then ideally what I would want to do is have my LumaFusion app open. So I'll crack this guy open, pull up LumaFusion, to replace the big one, and then I got LumaFusion up while I got YouTube up over here to maybe listening to music while I'm kind of working on stuff or whatever the case may be. So again, Shift Screen, it's a great app. I highly recommend it. The giveaway is, so we're doing a giveaway for the actual app itself. The app costs $4.99, I believe, on the app. We're giving away 4 app downloads. So all you guys got to do is comment below what you guys think of the app itself, give a like to the video, subscribe, and then go give Shift Screen a follow on Twitter as well, which I'll put right here, and I'll also link him in the description, guys. So definitely, I've seen, he reached out to me about a month ago. Version 1.0 was very rough around the edges, and now we're on version 2.1, not even a month later, and it's looking a lot better. So, sky's the limit for this guy, and I really hope to see, it's become a little more intuitive in ways where maybe mouse support can be dragged from the iPad itself into the monitor itself. So you get a little more functionality, a little more native control over what's going on the screen. Because right now we're kind of using the iPad to maneuver everything that's going on the screen, right? So all in all, I'll give this app like a 4 out of 5. It'll definitely improve over time. But that's gonna do it for this video. Hopefully it's helped somebody out, because I know you guys have been asking how I got rid of the letterboxing when it came to the secondary monitor with an iPad and iPad OS. So hopefully this helps somebody out. And that's gonna do it for this video, guys. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, enter the giveaway. Until next time, peace.